Oh, hi, TikTok. It's 1:27 in the morning, and Dion, let's see, it's supposed to be the 6th of November, and it's on a Wednesday, and I had another awful argument with my mother when I want to watch the Donald Trump election and whatnot, or dump, so to speak, with Kamala Harris, and let's just say I did, say some foul language, but my mother yelled at me back. It was just a mix, and I still feel awful that I had to argue with my mother or whatnot. Well, it happened like a few hours ago or a couple hours ago, so to speak. I thought I could actually just share something on my mind because I know that on TikTok videos only good. They're maybe like 40 seconds long or lower, I suppose. I don't know. And I tend to make my videos at least maybe 3 minutes long, even though I don't keep track. There's something that's been on my mind for quite some time. Besides of me wanting to move back to my apartment after we got evicted back on the 18th of August, which I would never would forgive, nor forget Marta's brother having to date that darn woman, so to speak, that I did post it on here, and her two adult kids that treated me as her kitchen maid or butler, so to speak. I've always wondered if people that are really attractive, I know they have their own issues, definitely, but it seems that they get life easier. What I mean by that, as someone that is an ugly ogre mixed with linguini, I suppose, because I know for having a big nose, I never tend to form friendships, right? Even though I'm doing fine now, but let's just say in the past, I've always have thought of this, especially since I have zero friends myself to hang out with, and being stuck in this, well, my mother's apartment for over 2 months now, and I do not like it here. I feel miserable and being trapped in this room and whatnot. I've always do feel jealous of people that are way more attractive. I'm not about like having like a six pack and being like really tall, but these people that tend to be more respectful for you, for your like space, and wanting to get to know you just because of the way that you're born. And it doesn't make any sense to me because of how a person that's really attractive, maybe average, because I'm well below average. I don't like how people saying, "Oh, Dion, you're handsome and you look beautiful." You don't have to just lie about it. I know I'm not, and Dion, it's okay to be ugly, of course. um they tend to just get treated it's so because I don't want to feel that I'm offending anyone, but I must well just say anyway, they have the halo effect, which means they basically get life by really easily, with the stick of hair that just comes out. I apologize, it's so dark because of how the way that they look. They can get away, let's just say, by bullying others or not as fortunate. I know how it's like because I was bullied by one of the most popular kids in school named Ricardo Lopez that would act gay on his buddies and would act homophobic and beat me up for. Well, he didn't beat me up, but threatened to beat me up, I suppose. It's because I touched his leg by accident when we were studying during lunch. So I remember that during my freshman year. How they could get away with other crimes, or if they would be like robbers, or hell, raping someone. I don't want to go that far to say it out loud on here, but may as well believe it. And just straight up just being like a psychopath, and they'll still get love for it. Donald Trump, because from my end, you're seen as just unpleasing to look at, which means someone that is not good looking. Basically, being ugly is uncomfortable in appearance or aesthetically um unpleasing, right? I guess you could say they look bad physically to other people. And from my experience of being ugly, when you would get asked to, so let's just say, because I would go on this app, right, that I don't use anymore, they called Grinder, which is a gay app for friendship, of course, because they were ace. I didn't know this until I think Dion, this probably like a few years ago. They you figure out they were asexual, so to speak, and autistic, right? But the asexual part, not the autistic part. Um, when these men would ask to see a photo of me. I know there was like one white guy that was his early 20s because I think he was taking like a public photo with his sister maybe, but her face is blurred out, which I can see why. He must have read my description that I was clean a certain amount of months of self-harm because I no longer kept track. I was supposed to be like going on 45 months of being clean of self-harm, but since I had an incident on the 10th of September, I had to start over, and I'm only 56. Dion, I think you're like 55 months clean. Dion, yes. Um, Basically, I was holding my Pokemon diary because I like to draw Pokemon. You know, I only did like 3 or 4 of them, and studying Japanese because I'm a fan for Japan and Pokemon, right? Because I wear Invisalign, you know, don't have them on. I've been having them on for quite some time. He blocked me. He didn't even tell me that he was not interested just to befriend me or tell me you're not my type, but I hope for the best for you. I would definitely accept that. He just immediately blocked me. And what I mean by being blocked is that you could check the messages on Grindr, right? I do not suggest the app for any gay guys out there that are ugly like me, right? There's nothing wrong with being ugly. And if you actually have poor mental health, it would really annihilate your brain, mentally, so to speak. His profile picture vanished, which means he blocked me as soon as he see what my face looked like. And this happened many times. And I'm not even the one that would bother to send messages. Maybe except for a couple when I say hello because I don't not know how to have a decent conversation. But it happened to me so much, not just on Grindr, but even like on Instagram, I get blocked by a handful of people as well. I just never have the darn courage to even message anyone because I feel that if you're ugly, you're seen as a criminal. Just to be friends with someone because they're thinking, wow, you're hideous. You gotta just be weird to me. And I could call the police on you because you look ugly. Not to mention, I did call out on a guy that I thought I was admired by named Azuri on my YouTube channel. He was following an underage girl and like a couple videos of like really young girls or a belly dance, I suppose, because he has a fetish account that's on private. It felt good exposing him. It's on my YouTube page, based off the link on TikTok. I might even share this on YouTube if anyone's viewing this on YouTube. But being ugly, so to speak, um, even though people might disagree with me, but this is my experience. I'm not talking about dating. This friendship wise, it's a curse because people just do not want to be kind to you just based off of what you look. Because I noticed that a ton. I know there are unattractive people out there that do get treated well and are popular, but that's only a handful. It's just really concerning of how when you do look attractive, life is just so much easier for you. And for me personally, as someone that has social and generalized anxiety and CPTSD, it's really difficult for me to even be around other people without being shamed of. If that actually makes sense. And yes, I know that I do not look pleasing to look at, and I know that my TikTok thing is not doing well because I don't know how to use TikTok, and I just used it recently again. Oh, I do think whoever followed me yesterday, because I saw followers now because of them, it can be really isolating. And being ugly, though, you're just seen as a villain. You know you're not. Because of how people would thinking that you're going to bug them. Or you may ruin their appetite just because of what your face looks like. Whether you may have like breakouts, well, I love freckles by the way. Maybe wearing braces. I love braces. And I guess you could say, you know, maybe just puffy, curly hair that's it's difficult to cut sometimes because you're so depressed. You haven't bathed in over a week. Yeah, it's been that long. And I've been wearing my Naruto outfit to the effort that, because I like to sleep in this outfit, that it's actually my mother, my brother, and I were just struggling to get by and income and whatnot. I'm sorry if I'm rambling here. I can't even wear like decent clothes, right? Because all I have is just basically. I might need to do a video about like how it's like being poor. You know, we're not, but it feels that way. I would have all my shoes that I don't wear this pair, but let's just say I want to do so much. They literally have holes on them, and I don't wear like mismatched shoes. These are George laceless shoes that my mother bought me from Walmart. That one cost like around $20 or so. And I know this to be really pretty gross, but let's just say I like to walk so much, right? This is how my feet look, or my toe. Actually, that's the wrong toe. This is the toe, right? If you can see it, yeah, I know it's not really pretty because I walk a lot, and well, I ripped up shoes. I'm so sorry that sounds like, Dion, why are you just showing your ugly toes? This is because I want to give an example here that as someone does his best to get by and doesn't really have much talent and or skill, so to speak. And this thing here, I hate saying this in my mother's apartment though. I know it's a roof under my head, but let's just say not having my privacy, my mother getting frustrated sometimes and whatever stuff that I do. Not everything, but it's complicated because I don't like to be trapped in here. Because I like to be in like the living room of my brother's like airbed or whatnot. It's just a hassle because I feel that if I basically, had us not struggling financially and be able to buy decent clothes and taking care of myself more, I'll probably feel a little bit more healthy about myself. And it's difficult to take care of yourself sometimes because when I don't know how to explain this. I know that has not to do with looks, support more, and hell, maybe I'll tend to be more richer, I suppose. When you're really hideous, people don't want to help you. You're seen as a bum, and people just wanted to get away from you. And you basically can't take care of your mental health, and you're still struggling to get by. And I don't know. What I'm just trying to say is I've been doing my best to raise up getting 3 grand just so that my brother's name could be on the lease if we could move back to our apartment again. I miss that place. And I've only raised 142 so far, which is amazing, but still a long way though. And I was stuck in a span of 2 months. I guess what I'm trying to say is I always felt that just because of my looks, people don't want to like hear my story out or not wanting to just know what I've been going through, which means they don't want to hear. And me just having zero friends to hang out with, even before we got evicted, I've always been a loner. And I don't know what I'm trying to say. I know, being off topic. I just miss my apartment. I just miss being out of nature because as someone that is really lonely, right? I miss my apartment or our apartment, which I nickname my castle because it's something that's really cherished to me. And it's something that I, you know, am blissful to live in. It may not be the best, like, looking, of course, and I may not have, like, the best clothes, but at least I have my physical health before I lost it. And I guess what I'm trying to say is missing my castle is probably like the only thing that keeps me sane, because as someone that does have zero friends and people don't like to be around him that much because of his looks, at least in the past, I've always would go out for walks in nature and watching One Piece and draw, right? It actually makes sense because it's something that I worry about my looks just to be friends with someone. This being out in nature, doing YouTube videos, and hopefully other people will support me along the way. I've always felt miserable being lonely and being trapped here is just a living hell. I don't like it here. I don't. It's hard to even sleep during the morning because, well, my mother would complain in the past that I have to sheet up, but is the only way that I can actually keep myself asleep. I apologize. I've been talking for 15 minutes almost for a TikTok video. I'm not sure this makes any sense here, but what I'm just trying to say is I've always feel jealous of people on TikTok, for example, throughout social media, like even on YouTube, that look really good, right? Even like an average looking, that they got friends they hang out with. And let's just say wealth on the side as well. I think I probably care more about popularity than wealth, maybe, because I want to feel that it belongs somewhere. And I don't know, maybe because that's why I'm so jealous of them, because of how they would get all the support they need and not struggling, especially food wise. And I've always wondered, because of me being ugly, my life is a living hell for being, quote, poor, and even though it's difficult to even get a job, if it's that simple, I've gotten one, but with my poor mental health, like depression and such, I just can't, right? It has to be a certain type of job, of course. And just basically have someone to hang out with and just being treated easier. I guess what I'm trying to say for anyone that's really attractive, do not take that for granted because that's a gift. Because if you're struggling and you want to ask for help with having a pretty face, people probably will reach out to you more than someone like me that's really hideous. People thinking that I'm like a beggar, like a bum, of course, and that I need to get a job if that's simple, and tell me to not complain because since I'm hideous, they do not want to feel as much empathy. And that's why if you're basically are ugly, people are just more rude to you. And if you're just on your luck, people would just tell you that you're out of luck. And I've always wondered, like, how do these people get by in life so easily? Yes, they do struggle, I'm sure of it, but not as much. And I just thought I could actually just share this because as someone that does struggle with friends alone and even support, I always feel that hear me or be around me. Which is why I do struggle a bit, especially my mental health, because, well, the lack of social interaction and just missing my counseling, I really want it back. If you look up Christown, Dollar Tree in Phoenix, that's you can find out like my address of where I lived, right? Because you can see me doing a review of how much I miss that place. It was like somewhere that I would go to, even talking to like the workers there, just to ease my loneliness and buying like a sweet treat or whatnot, just to get my mind off of the globe and how lonely I feel. Yes, I'm not as fortunate. I mean, at least wealth wise, but also socially, I've always tend to struggle talking and being around other people. I think that's why for people that are really attractive, they have like better public speaking skills. While if you're ugly, well, you don't seem as educated, at least from my experience. So I'm not sure this video makes any sense. It's just that being ugly is really lonely though, because of how you are intimidated just to be friends with someone, because of how they only want to be friends with someone that is as attractive as them, or having a decent amount of wealth, just to be respected by. And that's how I feel about